We are on page 117, lesson 23, problem solving using rates, unit rates, and conversions. So if work is being done at a constant rate by one person and at different constant rate by another person, both rates can be converted to their unit rates and then compared directly. So we're comparing unit rates. Work can include jobs done in a certain period of time, rates of running or swimming, etc. So these are very similar to what you did in lessons 21 and 22. So for example, we have fresh cut grass. Suppose that on Saturday morning, you cut 3 lawns in 5 hours, and your friend caught 5 lawns in 8 hours. Who is cutting lawns at a faster rate? So if we want to find out faster rates, you always want to do the amount that you do divided by the time that it takes. So we're taking 3 divided by 5 here. And if you notice, we can't divide 3 into 5 equal groups, so we can add a decimal point and a 0. This is invisible math. Every whole number has a decimal point and a 0 after it. And now 5 times 6 is 30. We get a remainder of 0, so we get 0.6 as our answer here. So we did 0.6 lawns in 1 hour. Now if we look at, I think it's our friend who cuts 5 lawns in 8 hours, you divide the amount that we did by the amount of time it took. And again, 8 can't go into 5, so we put a decimal point 0. 8 times 6 is close to 50. It's 48. We get a remainder of 2. I can just keep putting zeros here because they're just placeholders. 8 times 2 is close to 20. It's 16. We have a remainder of 4. And then 8 times 5 is 40. So we now get a remainder of 0. We're done. And we have our decimal of 0.625. And it says, who is cutting lawns at a faster rate? Well, now we have to compare them. Which number is bigger? So we're comparing 0.6 and 0.625. Notice 0.6 technically has 0 hundredths. This has 2 hundredths, so it's bigger. Remember, the big side of the inequality faces the bigger number. So my friend is cutting lawns faster. My friend, that's not how you spell friend, cuts lawns faster. The whole idea is you divide what you do by the amount of time it takes. So example 2, we have 350 menus in 2 hours and 510 menus in 3 hours. I want you to pause the video right now. Try to find how many menus you get in 1 hour for each one and then compare them. And then come back and I'll go over it. Okay, so for the first one, we take 350 divided by 2, because you always divide by the time. So 2 times 1 goes into 3. 2 times 7 is 14. And then 2 times 5 is 10. So we have 175 menus in 1 hour. Then we take 510 divided by 3. Oh, 3 times 9. So this should be 190, I believe. And then we know that 190 is bigger than 175. Oh, this is a 1. I'm so sorry. That's the issue. This should be 510. Aha. So I do this still. This is a 1, 7. There we go. So it's 170. So this one has more menus per hour. Okay, so survival of the fittest. We have 60 feet in 4 seconds, and then we have 100 feet in 8 seconds. Please pause the video right now and try this on your own. See which one you go more feet per second. Okay, so for the first one, we should have 60 divided by 4. we get 15 feet per second. 100 divided by 8. 8 times 2. 20 minus 16 is 4, decimal point 0. So we get 12.5 feet per second. So we see that this first one is more feet per second. So we're going to skip example 4. What I want you to do is I want you to try numbers 1 through 6 right now on a separate sheet of paper because you clearly don't have room here. So get a separate sheet of paper out, do numbers 1 through 6, and then come back and I will go over them. Okay, so number 1, who walks at a faster rate? Someone who walks 60 feet in 10 seconds or someone who walks 42 feet in 6 seconds? So we have 60 feet divided by 10 seconds. I'm not going to use that divided by, I'm going to use a slash for that. And that equals 6 feet per second. And then we have 42 feet divided by, oh, I did it again, 6 seconds. 42 divided by 6 is 7 feet per second. So who walks at a faster rate? The second one's faster. Number 2, who walks at a faster rate? Someone who walks 60 feet per second. So again, that's 6 feet per second because we did 60 divided by 10. Or someone who takes 5 seconds to walk 25 feet. So we have to take our distance divided by our time. 25 divided by 5 is 5 feet per second. So this time, our 6 feet per second is faster. Which parachute has a slower descent? So notice this one, we want the slower one. A red parachute that falls 10 feet in 4 seconds, or a blue parachute that falls 12 feet in 6 seconds. Well, I forgot the number 6. We know 12 feet in 6 seconds is 2 feet per second because 12 divided by 6 is 2. 10 feet divided by 4 feet is a little bit harder. I know 4 times 2 is close to 10 without going over. And then I have a remainder of 2, and my denominator is 4. So notice that's 2/4 can be reduced to 1/2, which is the same as 2.5. So 2.5, I almost made a mistake. Slower descent. 2 is smaller than 2.5, so we want the slower one here. Number 4, during the winter of 2012 to 2013, Buffalo, New York received 22 inches of snow in 12 hours. 22 inches per 12 hours. Oswego, New York received 31 inches of snow in 15 hours. Which city had a heavier snowfall rate? Round your answer to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so I'm going to do that below. So I have to do 22 inches divided by 12 hours. Well, I know 12 times 2 is 24, so that's too much. So I have to do 12 times 1. 22 minus 12 is 10, decimal point 0. 12 times 8 is close to 100. 12 times 8 is 96. And then 100 minus 96, I get a remainder of 4. Let's see, 12 times 3 is going to be 36. And then I get 12 times 3 again. But notice we don't have to keep going because they said to round to the nearest hundredth. So notice I have the hundredths place here. If I want to round to the hundredths, I look at the thousandths and say, well, that's less than 5. So I round this to 1.83. So 22 divided by 12 is 1.83 inches per hour, rounded. Now I have to do 31 divided by 15. Well, I know 15 times 2 is 30. I can't do 15 into 10, so that's a 0. I'm not lining these up properly. Okay, and now 15 times 7 is 100. So I don't even have to round this one. I just know that this one's 2.07 inches per hour. And now we want to know which had a heavier snowfall rate. Well, this time Oswego had the heavier snowfall rate. Number 5. A striped marlin can swim at a rate of 70 miles per hour. Is this a faster or slower rate than a sailfish, which takes 30 minutes to swim 40 miles? Let's be very careful here. We have 30 minutes per 40 miles. We had 70 miles per hour before. This is miles per minute. I'm sorry, I should have written this the opposite, because we have our distance over our time. I need to convert this to hours. So I know that 60 minutes is 1 hour. So I have to do 4 times 6 is 24, and then we have times 100. And this is miles per hour. Notice 24 hundredths divided by 3 tenths. I get 60 miles per hour. So this one you had to convert minutes to miles. So I have 60 miles for 1 hour. And it says, which is this faster or slower? So this is faster. One math student, John, can solve 6 problems in 20 minutes. 6 math problems per 20 minutes. While the other one can solve 6 math problems at a rate of 1 problem per 4 minutes. So I'll write that differently. 1 problem per 4 minutes. Who works faster? So again, there's a couple ways to solve this. I could do 6 divided by 20 to find the unit rate. Instead, I'm actually going to change this one. I'm going to rewrite these so that you can see it better. I'm going to write them, instead of horizontally, I'm going to write them vertically. So you have 6 problems in 20 minutes. And here we have 1 problem in 4 minutes. So notice these are the same thing I just had. I just am writing it as a fraction instead of with a slash. So notice here we have a denominator of 20. I have a denominator of 4. But I can easily make that 420 by multiplying these by 5. I'm going to find an equivalent fraction. So we get 5 math problems in 20 minutes. And now notice I have the same denominator, so I can compare my 6 problems per 20 minutes with my 5 problems per 20 minutes. So who works faster? John works faster, because 6 problems in 20 minutes is more than 5 problems in 20 minutes. If you did not understand any of these, please raise your hand and I will go over it with you.